Continuing our conversation now here on News Talk with Patrick Madden. He covers City Hall for our friends at WAMU 88.5 FM. Talking before the Medal of Honor ceremony, Patrick, about the decision to shut down a political action committee in the District of Columbia. This was a PAC that allies of Mayor Muriel Bowser had established. They thought they could collect big sums going around the donor limits that we see with other types of campaign donations to be a force in city politics. To some, this might sound like typical big city politics. I mean, what mayor, what wouldn't want allies on the council? What governor wouldn't want allies in the legislature? They're elected to advance an agenda. You need the votes to get anything through. Why not use your whatever levers of power, let's say, are at your command to advance the agenda that voters elected you to put forward and advance? If it's to pursue an agenda and if it's legal, why not do it? Why wasn't this deemed kosher? Why did they pull the plug?
Well, they pulled the plug not because it wasn't legal. The reason they pulled the plug was because it was becoming a distraction for the mayor. This fresh PAC issue was starting to shadow over everything else the mayor was doing. She was on this high-profile trade mission to China, but what was the headline? Fresh PAC donors are on the trip with her. There's this Pepco-Exelon merger. Yesterday, the opponents held a press conference where they talked about Fresh PAC. So it was starting to just color everything that was going on with the Bowser administration, and so I think whoever organized this made the decision that the risk-reward wasn't worth it.
And for someone who was able to become mayor in part because the person she beat in the Democratic primary in 2014 had a perceived pay-to-play problem, for her to go down this road struck many people as both surprising and unwise.
Exactly, and just the fact that it was called Fresh PAC, you know, I think there was a little bit of irony there, because again, the Mayor Bowser came into power after this big scandal with Mayor Gray and questions about his 2010 campaign, and that was why, you know, she ran on a Fresh Start platform, and then to see this questions about pay-to-play and donors, you know, who are giving money to this PAC and what are they getting in return, and no one has said that they are getting anything in return, but it's the appearance of it that I think struck many as problematic.
It doesn't feel as though the decision to pull the plug on the PAC is going to end the discussion. Can you, if that's a fair assessment, can you explain why?
I think it is. I mean, first of all, I think there are still questions that haven't been answered about this PAC. Who solicited the money? You know, we don't know these answers. One of the developers was asked this question during a city council hearing, and he kept saying, I don't remember who asked him for $10,000 just 4 months ago. I mean, I would remember who asked me for $10,000. So anyway, I mean, I think there are still questions remaining about this vehicle and who was soliciting the money. And I think the question is how much damage did this do to the mayor's reputation long term?
Can you talk about the sorts of the statements that Councilman David Grasso has made and the suggestions we're getting from him about what he intends to do, even with the decision to end Fresh PAC?
Right. I mean, so on one hand, the council wants to just sort of close this loophole, this kind of weird off your election, a PAC can raise unlimited money. I mean, they want to sort of close that. But that still doesn't...
Can they?
I think they can. I think they can. It wouldn't affect what's happening right now.
Was it one of those loopholes that was purposely left in? Because
we don't know.
Okay.
We don't. It's really unclear.
Because a lot of times these things aren't drafting failures in the sense that they didn't anticipate every opportunity to exploit some failure to legislate.
I mean, as someone who
was put in there on purpose.
Right. As someone who's covered campaign finance stuff in the city for a while now, I mean, sometimes it feels like whack-a-mole. You know, you stop one thing and then the money comes up another place. But yeah, I mean that's something we're going to try to find out. You know, where did this come from? But bigger issue is I've spoken with campaign finance experts, and this wasn't technically a super PAC, but super PACs could be coming in local races around here, independent expenditures. There's nothing stopping that from happening in mayor's races. We're seeing it in Philly, Chicago, New York. We'll probably see it here soon.
It sounds like the mayor's going to have to tackle this issue head on when she gets back. There will be questions. There's perhaps a need or an expectation for a full discussion of this, right? She's not going to be able to rope-a-dope her way. Not saying there's a scandal or wrongdoing per se,
right,
but some appearance. There's been criticism. She'll need to address this head-on to fully put it past her. I
think that's the only way. I mean, somehow the administration needs to move on from this. But again, a lot of questions.
Patrick Madden covers City Hall for WAMU 88.5. Always great having you here. We appreciate your time as always.
Thank you, Bruce.
We'll take a break. We're back with more right after this.